3, 2, 1. Spider.
Oh boy! All right. 3, 2, 1. Spider. All right. What's up, everybody?
Funny.
It was plenty funny, Sean. It was plenty funny. What's up, everybody? This is Press X to start, and we are here to finally review Spider-Man Miles Morales. So before we go into that, we're going to introduce ourselves, and I'm your host, your heavyweight champion from Wish Nigga Wood, California, aka the janitor because of be watch niggas, aka Skeetus Deletus.
Whoa.
Yeah, word to my homie Alejandro. That's what he calls Torbjorn's alt. So I thought that was really funny, and I decided to use it here.
Skeetus Deletus, nice.
Yes.
I am Sean MF Ross.
What MF stand for?
Multiple facts.
Whoa.
Oh.
Whoa, okay.
What are the facts? You got what them facts is?
Press X to start is in the top 10 for podcasts in the UK.
Hey.
Represent.
Let's go. We need to move to the UK.
Some didn't
Maybe the
believe
Queen
us.
ain't so bad after all.
She listens. You should listen too. Listen. Well,
do it.
I guess watch.
Watch it right now.
I am DJ, aka Sexy Bad Choices, aka Nose on the Mic, aka that programmable matter suit in Spider-Man is not what I expected. And I was
why is this? He got
Very.
square butt cheeks.
Yo, it hurt my feelings, it hurt my soul because I saw. Anyways, we'll get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into it. And now that we're all introduced, we're gonna break down just basically how we're gonna do this review real quick. First off, we're gonna start out with a game summary, which is basically gonna be spoiler free for the most part. Then we're gonna do an in-depth review and then give you some last thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
So, game summary. What were you guys' impressions in terms of the gameplay? You know, the Venom powers, zone activities, and enemy combat. What were you guys' thoughts on the gameplay?
DJ?
I mean, I think I was probably the most critical out of the group here about this, and I definitely kept with that going through the entire game. The Venom powers I thought was a cool idea. For me, my issue with it was that every time I'd use it, it didn't really put people down. It was more so to stun them. But it was always an issue where I didn't feel like Spider-Man's moveset wasn't very compatible with like crowd control. So it was like, I'm gonna stun everyone, then I have to run over, hit that person, knock that person out, go to the next guy, knock that person out. And like it's just like I wish there was more like area of effect moves. So yeah, but the zone activities, that was fun, that was interesting. It very quickly I remember all the feelings I had with Spider-Man 2018 with like, all right, I gotta go find this cash. All right, I gotta go save these civilians. Like, y'all can't fight for yourselves. Like, damn, like I'm just one person.
Look, do you want to be employed or not?
Right.
In the middle of a pandemic, everybody's happy to have something to do during the daytime. Or do you just want Peter Parker?
You
or
are
Miles Morales?
Grateful jigaboo.
You just want another lazy black man just mooching off of society?
Oh man!
If you say it like that, Sean, I guess you're right.
I mean, for God's sakes, in Baltimore they stand around and ask to pump your gas.
You're right.
I got that gas for you.
And the enemy combat, I felt that it was weird for me because to me it felt like everyone had a little too much HP, and it got to the point where my combat strategy was, I see people, okay, where can I knock that person off of? Into the water, they go. Off the bridge or off the thing, they go. And that is how I like dealt with a lot of combat scenarios until I get to like the tanks, the bruiser guys or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, all right, whatever, dudes. I guess I'll punch you guys a couple times.
Got you. What about you, Sean? How you feel about everything?
I I had no complaints other than maybe it could have been longer. I did enjoy the combat more than DJ. I'm not sure combo wise how adept you were at it, but I mean, I recently platinumed the other Spider-Man and got back into the fray of things. So I mean, it was just like getting on a bike. It was easy to get back in and just knock heads around.
Right. Now I'm pretty much in the same camp. The Venom powers I thought did a really good job of setting Miles apart from Peter.
Yeah.
And the fact that, because going into the game, I thought that you would really only have one Venom power move, and then the camouflage. But the fact that you had several was actually a really nice surprise. And the Venom on their own, I don't think that they were meant to stop people. But when you use them at the end of a combo, or like to like add to the combo.
Finisher.
Yeah, exactly. Like that, because that's how I was using them, and they were pretty useful there. Or like the Venom jump was pretty solid for crowd control. But I do also kind of feel you on like, especially later in the game, which I guess is understandable that the characters had more HP because more of them were armored up. But no, I do feel you on that. Zone activities were cool. Pretty much the same as the 2018 Spider-Man, with a couple of outliers that were a little more Miles specific. And the combat, I just still enjoy the combat. Outside of enemies having a lot of HP, I still loved, fighting as Spider-Man, just because I like the way that they really pinpointed how limber and how agile Spider-Man is, as opposed to maybe like the way that Rocksteady does fighting for Batman. It's very, I like how limber and mobile the fighting felt.
You know what? That actually brings up a good question that I had, because it's been so long since I played the original Spider-Man. But Sean, when Peter Parker, I guess, when he took damage, did he take a lot of damage at once?
Because I think it was roughly the same as Miles. They pretty much kept it same with the, subtraction of all the gadgets that Peter had and the addition of the Venom powers.
Yeah.
So it was pretty much 1-for-1, except for his animations were slightly different.
Right. Okay, because it felt very much like
he's getting his ass kicked in.
Yeah, and it's just like, all right, I'm sitting here throwing haymakers at this guy, and he hits me twice, and like that's like 40% of my health. Like what? So there was things like that like I think it also has to do with the fact that the way that they structure the gameplay design, it was more so like an RPG. So as you level, you get more health,
more health,
melee defense, and so on and so forth. So it's like playing at the end of the game, it's a very different experience because you're leveled up, so you're not really taking that much damage. Plus, you have more abilities at your disposal. But
I feel like in your head, he should be the movie equivalent of Spider-Man, and you're forgetting that they have to gamify a lot of the shit to make it actually fun.
I think okay. Yes and no. I feel like I wish that he had a little bit more defense, mainly because we see Spider-Man do these like amazing acts of strength and stuff. Like before this, he was pulling two bridge segments together, and it's just like, all right, this dude is strong. He survived a like very, very powerful explosion before doing that, and it's just like, all right, this dude is very durable. But then when it comes to just getting bodied by a normal dude on the street, like, that's weird.
I get you on that.
Yeah, so it was things like that that really kind of pulled me out of like the game a bit. But
I
mean, I guess that's the whole point of the spider sense. If you forget the fucking dodge, you just gonna get your ass kicked.
Well, that's true too. That's true too. Yeah.
I do think that before we go forward, I do think that the slight RPG elements of this game sort of work for Miles because he's growing. Yeah, exactly. So him getting progressively better at being Spider-Man makes sense with the RPG elements. If it was like that for Peter, who's been this for a while, I'd be kind of like,
they did have that though for Peter.
No, I know, but it makes a little less sense for Peter. Yeah. Whereas with, you know, Miles, it makes sense in terms of the story. But
once again, going back, they still have to gamify some elements of it to make you feel like you're having some type of progress. Otherwise, it'll be like some games or like Carry On, where you're the boss. Like, what's the point of playing if you're impervious?
Mm-hmm. Right. So yeah. Okay, going forward, the world building. How did you guys feel kind of about, you know, life in this game kind of taking place in like smaller portions of the big city and kind of spotlighting those elements of it?
I feel like it was better fleshed out than the 2018 Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Or even if it wasn't, it just made me care more. I did not care for the Mary Jane and the Miles portions of the 2018 game.
Mm-hmm.
I guess because it was stealth or whatever, but I mean, with Miles Morales, they made you care about the characters more. I kind of wish I would have seen more story of him out of the suit, just building relationships with people.
Yeah. Like, I absolutely love the world building in this game. Like, from the start of the game where you come out of the subway and like the music kicks in and it's just like chilling. It's like, yes, like this is that exaggerated swagger of a black teen. Like that's what that is. It's like, yeah, like you totally like, you get connected with Miles. It's like, okay, well, this is what he is outside the suit. Like, he's chilling, he's being helpful where he can. Like, he sees Haley. Yeah.
Haley.
But like, yeah, it's like it's like I felt like I connected with this world way more than what I did with the 2018 Spider-Man. So.
I think the big difference is Peter has always been New York's Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. Like, Peter is an Avenger. Peter, like, he's a much more macro Spider-Man, whereas Miles is very much so Harlem's Spider-Man. While he does operate in New York, he's very much so about Harlem. And I think that they spotlighted that in this game where, you know, even by, you know, without any spoilers, but like he starts getting more and more recognized as, oh yeah, that's our Spider-Man. And I think that that's why I think you connected more with that, because that was by design. Whereas with Spider-Man, with 2018 Spider-Man, he's like, he's operating around the same areas. The map is pretty much the same, but like he's fighting on a bigger level, it feels like, almost. But no, yeah, I'm with you guys. I really enjoyed the world building for this Spider-Man. Just getting to see him hang out with you know, the local people, going to bodegas, you know, hanging out with Spider-Man the cat, all that good stuff. Yeah, I really dug the world building for this game.
Yeah, Jordan just tried to jump in.
Like, nah, bro. No.
No, because we're doing the video, just like I was like, oh no. But yeah. Yes, I totally was paying attention to everything you were just saying.
Basically, I said I agree with you guys. I agree with you guys on that. What about the suits? What about the suits? How y'all feel about the suit selection in this game? And did you have any favorites?
The Spider-Verse suit, the classic suit, and the Black Lives Matter suit, I guess. I like the suit where he has the Timbs on, but I really wish that jacket was different.
Yeah,
like I wish you really would have had like a bubble jacket, like an NYC hat or something. I mean, like as a nod to the fans, or is it like, you know, kind of like Easter egg, some type of something.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
In a sentence, well, actually, in a run-on sentence, I will say My favorite suit was the Into the Spider-Verse suit, and I used that suit for about 60% of the game.
Did you use the visual effect for it?
I did for like 2 seconds, and I was like,
it's very jarring.
Yeah, like this is not how I want to play this. And then once I got the Miles Morales 2020 suit with the jacket, the fucking Daft Punk helmet, I was like, this is where I'm at. And I just kept that suit for the rest of the game. My worst suit was that programmable matter suit that I just mentioned in my intro, because that was garbage. That was not what I expected. I don't know who the fuck was the art designer or the art director for that. That was
that could have looked way differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that was bad.
I felt like the suits in this game were a giant step down from the 2018 Spider-Man selection, but it did have a few of my favorite suits across those games. You know, I did use the Into the Spider-Verse suit for like a majority of the game, and then you start getting more and more suits. And I think the suit that I used the most in the entire game, though, was the end suit, the one where he has like a hoodie and he has like camo pants on. And
I did like that one as well.
Like
yeah.
But my wife made fun of his pants, so I changed it.
That was the suit that I had on for most of the game, because I felt like this was a very Miles suit in this universe, not like, so I wouldn't just be like Spider-Verse Miles. But I thought that was really cool, a good outfit for him. But yeah, like most of the suits in this game, man, that was just like, ugh.
Now, I don't know, maybe our listeners and watchers can tell us, but I'm guessing all of this is from the comics, though, so it's not like they just made
some of them were. I think some of them were definitely from like the comics, and some of them I think were from some TV shows and other source material. The one thing that I will say before going forward is that I'm upset that you have to have a designated suit to use Spider-Man the Cat. Like, I felt like you should have been able... It should be a
suit mod.
Right, exactly. Like, you should have been able to have that backpack on any anything. Suit once you do that mission. You know, I think that was kind of whack, but, you know...
And then the other side to it is that you don't get that suit until after you beat the game.
Exactly.
I was like, why would you gate this suit? Like, this is something that once you showed it off, everyone was like, "Oh, I want that suit. I want to have."
The cat doesn't even come out all that often, because I replayed it to get the platinum, and I don't think I saw the cat jump out once.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Like, once I actually got the suit, I was like, all right, is there a skill to have the cat attack? And I didn't see anything. I was just like,
he's supposed to be joining in on finishers, but I didn't see him join.
I fought like directly after beating the game, and I put on that suit, and he did come out for like the finishers for me. But even then, I'm still like,
it's underwhelming.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a problem where we all use that suit, and it's just like, it kind of worked for me. I didn't see it at all, or I have no idea how to get the cat out.
What was actually cool was the programmable matter suit, that finisher. It actually had some iron spider legs pop out. I don't know if y'all saw that.
Is that how you do? Oh my god.
Yeah, when you do finishers.
So funny you say that. This is a little bit of a spoiler, but I saw a video of that finisher, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, I assumed that was a programmable matter suit. So once I got the suit and I saw the suit, I was like,
how do I do it?
What the fuck is this? Like,
get this thing off of me.
Why? So I didn't even bother like playing.
If only the suit wasn't so ugly.
Right. Right. But
has no alibi.
Ask your mom if you don't know, guys.
That suits its daddy's son. Now with the story, did you guys enjoy the story, and did it feel like a DLC or expansion to you?
I enjoyed the story way more than 2018. DLC or expansion? I mean, I think we're getting to the point where a lot of adults, a majority of adults play video games, and everybody says they would rather a shorter, 20-hour, 30-hour game versus Odyssey. God knows how long that was. Jordan put 100 plus, 200 plus hours in. Red Dead Redemption was how long? That one dev in Cyberpunk put in over almost close to 200. Yeah. Like not everybody has time for that. So I mean, if you enjoyed the game, you know your value per minute versus how much you spend on the game. I mean, like it's more than a, let's say, movie. You spend 2 hours with a movie. If you're spending more than 10 hours on a game, 15 hours, I'd say you got your money's worth as long as you're enjoying the game. We can't really measure it based off of how long it takes you to beat the game.
Yeah. I mean, there's even games out there that last 1-2 hours and it's impactful. It's subjective.
Yeah. What about you, DJ?
So, I feel like if I were to play this to completion the second go around, I would enjoy the story more. I feel like I think they played it a little too safe. I really wish that there was I wish that they utilized characters a bit better. Like we're gonna go in spoils later on, so I'm just kind of keeping this light. Overall, I think the story was fine. I think I liked the 2018 story, Spider-Man story more, maybe because there was just more content in it. But yeah, it was a fine. It was fine.
And did it feel like expansion or DLC to you?
It felt more of an expansion to because like I did like the little touches of Peter calling Miles like, hey, I saw you on the news. Like, do you want me to come back?
Good?
Right. Like those touches was like really cool, and it was like a nice way of like keeping Peter involved into the game. So I think overall it did feel more of like an expansion than like a DLC. So
yeah. I'm kind of in the middle of you both on the story, where I didn't like it a bunch more than I liked 2018 Spider-Man, but I think I liked it about the same. They followed similar beats, but both of them were distinctive enough from each other to feel like definitive stories for Peter and Miles. Like they both felt like these are extremely important moments for each of them as heroes, and they will grow from these definitive moments.
Yeah.
And it definitely felt like an expansion to me. I felt like it felt too big to be a DLC, but it never felt big enough to be its own standalone game. It felt like this is very much so we're reusing assets and stuff that we established in 2018 to give Miles his own story, but this is definitely not his own game, I don't feel.
But I mean, they would have to reuse assets to set.
No, of course. But I think, because we were talking about this off mic, DJ and I, where I feel like this game, without going too deep into things, is a victim of being a cross-generational game. Like, you can tell with 2018 Spider-Man that they put all of their TLC into this game, and we're like, this is our system seller. Like, this is what we're trying to make our definitive game of this generation for our company. This game feels like, we know that you guys are big fans of Miles, especially after Into the Spider-Verse, so we want to do right by him and give him something, but this is definitely not a sequel. Like, this is its own little thing, but it's also coming out on PS4 and PS5, so we can't throw all our assets into, like, if this was a PS5 only game, I feel like it would have felt bigger. I think so. But it's still dope.
Actually, real quick, one question from me about that. This is a question to everyone here. Do y'all feel like, for example, Sean, you played it on PS5. Marcus and myself played it on PS4. Do y'all think that the experience would be better just playing it on PS5 versus PS4? Like, Sean, how do you feel? Do you think that you could have played this on PS4 and then Marcus the other way around?
I mean, I had the added feature of like the haptic feedback and whatnot. So like when he's swinging on the web, you actually feel that in the controller, like slight tension in the trigger.
That's cool.
There were no load. Like I know when you do fast travel, he gets on the train.
Yeah.
He doesn't do that. You have to turn that on if you want to see him get on the train.
Oh, okay.
It just zoops right to it.
Huh.
So a lot of times to save time, instead like on the PS4 version in 2018, sometimes it would be faster to just swing halfway across the city.
Yeah.
And then I would just fast travel just to zoop, 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 you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like there's this game, not like a game-breaking way, but this game was way buggier to me than the 2018 Spider-Man, and I think that had a lot to do with the fact that they had to spread it across 2 generations. So I do kind of wonder if things would have just been smoother all around if it was just PS5.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not mad I played it on PS4, but I was just like experiencing certain things where I'm like, this wouldn't have happened in 2018. Yeah. Like this is
right.
This is interesting. So yeah, I think, you know, I would have liked to play it on PS5, but I'm fine either way.
Yeah.
So,
I was gonna say, like, my experience, I didn't wait for PS5 because I didn't think this would be like the generation game kind of thing. And playing it, like the loads were there, but they were really good compared to like other games that I was playing or whatever. So like that never bothered me. I felt like graphic wise, I didn't really see the need to wait for the PS5. And then
still looks good.
Yeah.
It looked awesome on the PS5. I switched back and forth. You can definitely tell the difference between
really
the fidelity mode versus performance mode, and I couldn't quite tell which one I wanted to stick in.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Like you see that curl pattern in his hair.
You can see the waves.
Wave check.
But yeah, and then there was, I think I mentioned on one of the casts before or whatever, but there was a scene that Sony had touted about PS5 being like super fast when it comes to loading, and it was a scene where Miles was inside an area and he slingshots outside the area, and it's like, look how fast the outside load or whatever. And I was in that situation, and I slingshot out the area, and I was just like in the open world, and I was just like,
same thing. Yeah,
same thing. So it was things like that that was just like, all right, I don't really think I'm missing anything by not playing.
I don't know why they touted that as a next gen thing. What I'm thinking is that that was a outside area with barriers put up to make it look like it was an inside area, if that makes sense.
You were in a box basically in the open world.
I mean, honestly, what they should have showed off is what you said, Sean, where like when you use fast travel, you just get there. Like they should have showed that as this is a feature on PS5.
Yeah, definitely.
That probably came down to decisions in the boardroom, and somebody was an idiot.
And last before we go into the more in-depth conversation, would you guys press X on this? I think we all.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, it's not a full price game. What is it? $40 on the PS4?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Can't complain. It's $50 on the PS5. Eventually, we will be giving away a copy of the game because I got an extra one from Walmart for $20 somehow. So this will be going out to a lucky watcher or listener at some point.
We're generous people over here at Press X to start.
Yeah.
Yes,
we do it for you, the people.
Anyway.
Yep. Now let's get down to the nitty gritty. Spoiler alert. If you haven't played this game and you plan to play this game and you don't want any further story things being given away, now's your time to jump off.
3, 2, 1. Finn was the Tinkerer? Oh my god. Oh no. Until they showed
I didn't get that at first. I didn't get that at first. That was a genuine twist to me. Yeah.
I literally called it. I was playing, I was like, oh, it's Finn. Okay. And then we see a Tinker. I'm like, that Tinker has a dark neck.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. It didn't register at first.
Really?
Because when we met Finn, I didn't think that she was gonna have a bigger, like, I knew she was gonna have a big part of the story in terms of Miles and his like development, but it didn't put two and two together at first until I found out her connection to Roxxon. Like when I found out like about her brother and stuff, then I was like, huh, okay. So when it hit that she was the Tinkerer, it didn't surprise me. But when we first see the Tinkerer, it didn't hit me immediately.
You see,
that, like,
you don't have a fetish for necks like DJ does. We weren't paying attention to her neck. We respect women. So we look into their eyes.
Get a load of that neck.
You're not supposed. I told you that in confidence, Sean.
So, did you guys find the story? I mean, we kind of already talked about this a little bit, but did you guys find the story compelling? And what were your high points of this story for you? Starting with Sean.
Yeah, like I said earlier, this story was more compelling to me than the 2018 version. It felt more personal. It felt more local. Miles still has his family around. Peter just has Aunt May, which, I mean, he didn't really interact with all that much.
Does he still have Aunt May around?
Well, I mean,
they took everybody from Peter.
I don't even know you. You took everything from me.
They took Peter's face. They took his. God dang.
Yeah, but Peter just has Mary Jane, and I mean, even then,
Mary Jane.
Their interactions aren't all that heartfelt. It just feels like they're just hitting required, Spider-Man story beats. You know, there are certain elements that just are at a box that they have to check off when they're doing Peter Parker stories.
Right.
I feel like with Miles, I don't read the comic, so
Yeah, I mean, I think overall, I think the story was compelling. I think the story that they wanted to tell worked. I wish there was more scenes or more time spent with Haley. I wish there was more time spent.
Yeah, you do.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah,
hey, right? My man was macking on Haley.
But like, I wish there was more time spent with Aaron. Like, you know what? I was thinking about doing it. I was like, I feel like that's a bad.
That's offensive. That's right? Absolutely offensive, and I apologize.
Hey, just blur out the fingers.
Right. I'll just put like a censor bar at the bottom. But
press X to cancel.
Go ahead, DJ.
But yeah, I feel like there was more time spent with like Aaron and not even just Aaron and Miles, but like just Aaron and the family, like him like kind of trying to like
reconnect.
Yeah, like he mentioned it, but we didn't really see it really happen. Even when he came to help the family at the end or help Miles, yeah. It was like, oh, cool, but like we don't really get to see anything like that. Like him.
Well, he still wants his identity kept hidden at that point until the end when he kind of just gives it up.
True,
because he just says, "Get out of here, kid."
Yeah, no. But I thought the mom and dad knows that Aaron's a prowler.
The dad knows. We don't know what they shared in the bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, his mom might. You just be running your mouth during pillow talk, don't you, DJ?
That's how
my social security number is.
That's how Drake's child got leaked.
Right. Oh man, but yeah, like overall, I thought it was a pretty good story. I felt like the ending was a little cliche. Like I felt like it would have been a nicer play to have Spider-Man and or Miles and Finn like, be okay, but still have some conflict between them. So
for me, I found the story really compelling. I did really appreciate the more centralized and homegrown feel of Miles' story, because Miles really is a man of the community. His mother is running for city council. Like there is more Harlem in this story, which I really felt was cool. And it was compelling to me. I liked seeing Miles kind of have more in-house issues define him rather than Peter, who's kind of dealing with, you know, the city more at large, or like New York at large. I actually thought the way that the story ends for Finn and Miles was beautiful. I agree. Because while I would have liked to see Finn actually survive, I can understand in her mind why she thought that this was the only way that she could absolve herself.
Redeem herself.
Especially because of her, they kept bringing up how she watched her brother die and all that stuff. And it almost happened with Miles. And I could see how she wanted to fall on that sword. Plus, if we're being real, her life would pretty much be over. Like, she almost destroyed Harlem. Like,
but
she would have been under the jail. Like, it would have.
But even that was like, come on, Finn. You obviously this is not going right. Like, why are you still fighting Miles? Like,
well, have you ever been so like, it's kind of not bringing up Last of Us 2, but like you get to a point where you're so far gone and
you've dug your heels in.
You've put so much into getting this far that it's like, if I back up now, everything that I've lost coming up to this point will not even have been worth it at all.
Yeah, DJ, but when's the last time you've been into an actual fight? Like, I mean, all the time. What I'm saying is, you can be wrong or right, but the more you continue to fight, you're no longer even listening to reason.
Right.
You have blinders on, and you're just gonna keep fucking going until your demise.
And like her, and the stakes were so high, and her adrenaline was up, and like at a certain point, I feel like maybe at her core, like the logic was telling her that something was off.
Yeah.
But she was all emotion at that point. Like she was pissed off that Miles had lied to her and kept trying to get in her way. She was like, I don't think outside looking in, you're just like, come on, Finn. You know that this is, you know, he's not lying, but for her,
I get that, but I think like this is kind of what I meant by I felt like the story was playing safe, because that the ending pretty much followed the my best friend is my enemy trope, where it's like we're gonna
I would have
fight.
thought playing it safe was keeping her alive.
Well, I don't. I would disagree with that, only because I think playing it like by having her make this sacrifice or whatever, it puts a, like as Marcus said, it kind of puts a bow on her arc or whatever. Like she made the sacrifice to save Miles, just like how Rick made the sacrifice to save her.
I will say that by having her go out and having, because there's a through line in the story of appreciating or accepting people.
Oh no, I thought you were going to say there's more time for Haley now, but never mind. Continue.
Yes, there is more time for Haley. Exactly. Finn out the way. It's time for Haley to shine. But there is this through line of accepting people as people, and people are messy. And you know, while you know Uncle Aaron was a thief and did what he did, yes, Aaron, he also came around at the end and like helped save the city. You know, Finn doing what she was doing, road to hell is paved with good intention. She wanted Roxanne out of here, but she also ended up destroying her town because she was so fed with revenge.
Yeah.
And so it's accepting that you can remember the good things while also understanding how far gone she was as well.
I think it also has to do with age. Aaron is a grown-ass man. He understands what he's doing. He understands the ramifications. She is still a teenager. You think you're 100% right, and you think you're smarter than the world at that point in your life.
That's
true. I do wonder what you guys felt about the Black Lives Matter representation in the game, like the little morsel that they threw in there.
Morsel is right. Like,
I mean, they can't turn their whole game into a political statement. You know, they still, at the end of the day, have shareholders to satisfy. And, I mean, they did enough. They did enough. I mean, we got a story with a black central character and a black centric story, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could have been. You could tell this was written with care. This could have been a bean counter story written by The Outside, if that makes sense.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the side of when I go back and I think about it.
Yeah,
it's a very, very, very forgettable moment. It's very like it's like, oh, the people, you have this gift or whatever, and you get there and it's like the Black Lives Matter mural, and then it's a Black Lives Matter suit, and it's just like,
how you know I was black?
Yeah,
right. That I was wondering the same thing.
Oh, goddamn minute.
Oh my god.
I was like, who told you?
I seen the way you was mopping up them niggas.
But then again, Miles just,
I saw them Tims.
Yo, everyone knows his identity, man.
Yeah, apparently, like, Jesus Christ.
Yo,
because I was like, outside of the kind of how did you know my identity, how did you know I was Black Lives Matter moment, but I was also just kind of like, man, like it was a weird way to address that it's actually a thing in this world, because by having this random mural up there, I was just like, but
I mean, I'd say it's realistic.
Well, yeah, but it was just like, but it was just
art
weird.
Imitates life.
It was just weird because, like, I don't know, I would have appreciated if they had that mural and they also had little things sprinkled throughout the game here and there. Yeah. You know, like a Black Lives Matter sign or something at the rally for Miles's mom, or Danica on her podcast saying, like, at the end of one of the episodes, and don't forget Black Lives Matter, or, you know, like things that just in subtle ways show that this is a presence in the world while not making it the main story.
There could have been like a side mission where, you know, you have to you go show up at a protest because there's riots or something, and you have to be that like barrier to stop the fucking red armored police from brutalizing
put your Tims to some racists,
right? Like that could have worked, because that's kind of what America is. Like, there's technically private military, and they're attacking
the Proud Boys are out in the Rockstar Proud Boys.
Depending on who you are, a company either does too little or they're pandering. So it's a fine line to walk. Just like you said, Danica could have thrown that in at the end of her podcast.
Mm-hmm.
True. Well,
some people might have felt like that's pandering.
Let it be known. I like pandas, so go ahead and pander.
Shut up.
All right, designer.
I think because the thing was, Danica, if it would have been like at the end of like J. Jonah Jameson's podcast, it have felt like, okay, this is out of place. But like,
also, why is that dude still in, like, what?
Because he's Alex Jones. Like, I love.
He has switched from the Daily Bugle to basically like an InfoWars type platform.
Right,
so I mean, it's realistic.
I love J. Jonah Jameson's podcast. That man is hilarious. But my thing was, Danica, it wouldn't have felt out of place for Danica saying it, because at the end of all of her podcast episodes, she would say, and don't forget to take care of your mental health, or blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, so she would, because she's a millennial and everything, or maybe even Gen Z. Of course she would say something like that, you know? And I mean,
we just assume she's not racist. I mean, you could be Earth friendly and still be racist.
This is true.
You're just assuming.
Wrong.
I mean, you're not wrong, but you know, still, it would have been nice. I would have appreciated the BLM mural moment and getting the suit and whatnot more if there was little sprinklings throughout. I
understand.
You know, but you know, it is what.
Or there could even been a side mission where, like, you're helping Haley, like, collect paint cans or whatever to actually create the mural or something, and then at the end you see the mural.
You just want to see more Haley.
I mean,
he's not wrong.
I'm just providing ideas.
He ain't. He ain't wrong. He's not wrong at all.
Hey, it looked great in 4K.
I bet. Oh, Jesus Christ.
We're funny.
We sure are. And I mean, we kind of touched on a lot of stuff gameplay wise, story wise. So I just want to wrap this up by asking what you guys' thoughts were for the teaser at the end, and then what are your hopes for the future of the franchise?
So the teaser at the end, when you bumped into Mace down in Harlem World, that was just quite a. No, I'm doing. No, that was pretty cool. A continuation, although I'm surprised that Harry is the son, right? Harry Osborn.
Yep. Venom.
Well, I'm surprised he's still in the goddamn chamber. Like, what was the time skip between the last game and this game? And
a few weeks.
Was the symbiote in the teaser in 2018 too?
Yes, it was. It was
in the liquid on Harry, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which was like a really interesting change because, you know, Harry is the Hobgoblin. He's not Venom. So the fact that they decided to go that route for this one.
Well, if you know the symbiote story, Peter Parker wasn't the first one that it bonded with.
No, not at all.
And they have a whole backstory. Apparently, it's like an alien race. They have a symbiote king, blah, 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 whatever.
Right. But usually Venom is Eddie Brock. And so, like, the fact that they decided
to make their way to it, I guess.
No, I'm just saying, I think it was cool that instead of making it Eddie Brock, they actually bring it closer to home for Peter and have it be his best friend that he's going to have to fight.
Yeah, I would imagine that, like, in terms of me, I like the teaser. It was weird though because when it first hit, I was like, "The fuck!" Like I literally thought it was like, "Oh, Finn didn't die somehow."
I thought that maybe too until I saw Norman Osborn.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, okay, we're going back there." And like, it was cool to see that. It was one of those things where it's like, I kind of wish that ended more with like. It ended a little anticlimactic where he's like, all right, well, just let him out. Versus like, it'd be cool. Like if it was like,
he said
like, let him out. Yeah. If you broke out or like, if something like happened where you're just like, oh shit, like that's going to be interesting for next sequel or whatever.
Yeah. I think if anything, the way that they use that teaser only adds to this being an expansion of the 2018 story. And it definitely wasn't Miles's own game. It was like, okay, this is a little extra story to fill out the world of the Insomniac Spider-Man universe. I liked the teaser though, because I'm excited to see what happens in the sequel.
Yeah.
And speaking of the sequel, what are you guys' hopes for the future of the franchise?
Oh man. Hopefully they do it like GTA 5 style where you can switch back and forth between them because I can't lose Miles at this point.
Right, yeah. Especially because he's established as a superhero now. Like him and Peter swinging together at the end of that game, that was awesome. And now you're in too deep now. Like you can't just be like, all right, this is only Peter's story. Like we're gonna conveniently have Miles go to Lithuania with Haley. You know, like
I mean, if it's peaceful there and they can build a life, I mean,
we going to Atlanta, girl.
I think we saw hints at what the next Spider-Man game will be like, because there were scenes where you're playing as Miles, whatever, and you were fighting with the Prowler.
Right?
So I definitely think there's going to be more of that,
and with the Tinkerer,
Yeah. So like, I definitely think that that's going to be a thing that happens, and I kind of feel like it's probably going to be a thing where Peter is fighting. See, the thing is, like, what I don't know, I'm not sure if they're going to do the thing where you can bounce between characters, because that could get a little confusing because their powers are very different. So
I don't know. Why would that be confusing?
I don't know. Mainly because like I don't.
Because they're not Gundam.
Well, yes, because nothing is Gundam. Let me tell you guys about the RX-78-2. Okay?
What if they end up making that game co-op accessible?
That would be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm wondering.
Man, complete side note, I know we're almost out of time, but like I really would love for them to make a complete spin-off that could be Spider-Man related or not, but it's a multiplayer game where you're just fucking swinging through the cities and doing tricks and you build up a combo score like SSX.
Hey, guess what?
You want a Tony Hawk game with Spider-Man?
Without the skateboard, yes.
Okay.
Hey, DJ, do you have dreams? Go build it.
I'm wasting my time in that.
I'm pretty much with you guys on like wanting to see more Miles because we're in too deep now. I also want to see an overhaul to the photo mode because at this point, it's unacceptable that photo mode is so whack, especially in comparison to a post Ghost Tsushima world.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, Last of Us.
Right. And Peter Parker is a photographer, so you need to like really make sure that next photo mode is on point.
Just because he's a photographer doesn't mean he's a good photographer.
Boy, you know what? He works for a newspaper. I also want to see Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, I think that would be interesting. I think I heard or I read somewhere about like how people want like the Gwen game, a Gwen Spider-Man now, and like I think that would be cool. I like if they can end up where this is like Into the Spider-Verse thing, where you have these like group of characters that work together as a team, as a spider team, like that'd be really dope. But
yeah,
I don't know how far that's really far into the future because you got to at least get Venom,
exactly,
Carnage. Like,
right,
I would love to be in a situation where like you're swinging and you're fucking just hauling ass away from Venom where Carnage chasing you. Like that.
That would be really awesome.
Yeah.
And I mean, before we close, I want to give so much props to Najee. I think I think
the entire cast, really.
Oh yeah, the entire cast was great. But like Najee had the hard task of already living in the shadow of what people were calling the definitive portrayal of Miles with Shameik Moore in Into the Spider-Verse. And I feel like he did such a good job with also giving his own definitive, like I feel like now both of their performances as Miles are equally definitive.
Yeah.
And they are able to exist in different planes, with one being movies and this one being video games. And both of them are such really, really strong portrayals of Miles. I think that's many props to Najee for that. And I look forward to seeing more of him outside of Spider-Man and in Spider-Man. I think that he's got a bright future.
I agree. I totally agree. So,
yes, take us home. No, I'm good.
Well, I was gonna say before I take you guys home, and tuck you in, how would you guys rate the game out of 10?
Sean, you want to go?
I'll probably give it like an 8.5. It's by no means perfect, but it is very enjoyable. I do not regret playing it at all.
Same, really, like 8.5. Like that's where I'm at.
I'm actually at 8 too. I'm at 8 too. Yeah.
Oh, I think 8.2 or 8.5?
No, 82 out of 10. It's like
this is the most. Actually, that's a lie because we were all pretty much on the same page for Watch Dogs Legion 2.
Oh well, yeah.
So. Yeah,
wasn't an 8 though.
But there was because our reviews for a little bit have been pretty contentious with Ghost Tsushima and Last of Us. Like it's nice to have a nice rounded out score.
Can't wait for Cyberpunk. I'm gonna give that shit a 4 out of 10.
I'm gonna give that a 2077 out of 10.
Okay.
Oh shit! All right. Well, this has been a wonderful episode of Press X Presents our Spider-Man Miles Morales review in video form. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoyed making it. Don't forget to rate and reviews on your favorite podcasting app. Every little bit helps. In case you miss any of this, you can find all the details and more on our website at pressxmstart.com.
Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel and be on the lookout for our Cyberpunk 2077 review whenever that'll be. It will be video and audio for that one. So be on the lookout for that when it happens.
And our Bug Snacks review.
Woo! Oh, snap. Bug Snacks, game of the year. Game of the year.
Nah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's it.
Yeah. Take it easy, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.